Hi everyone, my name is Tatiana and today we're going to talk about one of the most important yet frequently overlooked traits of Vladimir Putin's character. The need to please people. Yes, Putin is a people pleaser. There are a lot of psychological profiles of Vladimir Putin and they ponder lots of facts, they have lots of information about him, but having read them, it is still to answer one simple question. What kind of person is Putin? In one sentence. So today I will try to answer this very question because from my point of view, Putin is a people pleaser. And as people pleaser, he has this very soft personality, a personality without a hard core, a personality that can morph into anything other people expect him to be. So, and it explains how a person who used to carry other people's suitcases became the leader of a country. And it's not leadership that made him the president. It is his ability to please people, to understand what people need and to please them. Yes, that's true. So because Putin was never elected, Putin was appointed. He was appointed by Boris Yeltsin and his so-called family, the circle of his friends and associates, the people in power. So when Yeltsin became seriously ill and he needed someone to perform the role of the president, so they decided to choose someone who could please people, someone who could protect their interests. So they decided that Vladimir Putin, was the most suitable candidate to serve their interests. So they chose him. And only then Russian propaganda started to advertise Putin as the best leader, the best candidate who can solve all Russian problems. Yeah, so he became president not because of his leadership qualities. He became president because of his ability to please that circle of people. And if you analyze how Russian economy has developed since then, you'll see that it has developed to satisfy the interests and the needs of that a little circle of people close to Putin. So right now, a lot of Putin's friends, a lot of people and oligarchs close to him are under sanctions. So they have considerable financial losses. And Putin feels guilty for what is going on, and obviously he wants to make up for their losses. So what does he do? He is introducing new taxes on Russians to compensate to people close to him. But Putin tries to please everyone. He tries to please everyone he's ever contacted with in his whole life. So he even tries to please his bodyguards. So you know that his security guards, his bodyguards, they become governors of Russian regions. So and in this way he is trying to develop a circle of loyal people. I think that this strategy is really going to pay, because right now when Russia is under sanction, he's still loyal to people who can change the situation in Russia. He wants to please them, he wants to satisfy them, and I think most of them feel it. Most of them understand it and they appreciate it. So even if there is a bad sheep from Putin's perspective, I think the rest of the loyal people, they will prevent anything bad from happening. Let's call it this way. Second group of people that Putin is trying to please, the less important group of people, is actually the rest of Russians. Their opinion, their needs and desires are also important to him. Who do Russians want to see as the leader of their country? So in Russian worldview, their leader should be the emperor of the universe. He should be the most fearsome, the strongest, the most powerful guy on earth. So the Russian propaganda portrays Putin in such a way, but actually Putin himself also assumed that role. So he treats people below him with contempt, because the Russian society is very hierarchical, and the people who are higher, they treat people who are lower with contempt, and people who are lower treat people who are higher with fear, because fear is actually a sign of respect. So contempt is the sign of superiority. If someone who is superior does not treat his inferiors with contempt, he will be considered as weak. So Putin treats his subordinates in such a way that as to demonstrate to the rest of the country that he is really like the most fearsome Tsar of them all. So a lot of people do not understand this way of social structure, and they think that he is an authoritarian leader. No, he is not an authoritarian leader. He acts as an authoritarian leader because this is what the Russians want. This is what his subordinates want him to be. This is what the Russian oligarchs expect him to be. So this is like the expected behavior for a person occupying such a rank. And to understand how he's doing it and to understand what he wants, you need to understand Russian values. So most of Russians have only one core value, and that value is the Russian territory. So to satisfy their need for more territory, he from time to time occupies new territories, starts wars. He spreads the sphere of the Russian interest onto other countries, because this is basically what the Russian people want. This is basically one of the core Russian values, to make their empire stronger and to make their empire bigger. So why does Putin take money from the poor and give it to the rich? So that's really interesting. But if you listen to how ordinary Russians characterize themselves, you will understand why it's going on, why it's happening. So ordinary Russians normally characterize themselves as a bunch of nothings, whose lives are worth nothing. And they can decide nothing. And of course, from Putin's perspective, you do not give a bunch of money to a bunch of nothings. So that's clear, that's obvious, and no one in Russia expects him to give money to them. So everyone considers it natural that Putin gives money to his close circle. Thank you for watching my video. Do not forget to leave your comments below. Have a nice day. Bye bye.